So many hoes, I'm the fireman. Girl, get two fucks, what sign you is? Is she a freak? I invite her in. Give her the D like a vitamin. I got the lead in the Vicodin. How you want beef on a diet, bitch? All of my niggas is animals. I feel like Daniel inside the lion's den.
Brent's finest, nigga. Pete easy, nigga. We waited the week.
Case of pride and vengeance. Pride and vengeance are intoxicating forces. They promise strength, justice, and satisfaction. But in truth, they corrupt, blind, and destroy those who give themselves to them. In chapter 145, Grace, the clash between Shayheart, Thanatos, and the living God becomes more than a battle of powers. It is a confrontation with grief, temptation, and the cost of giving in to vengeance. Though these events, this case is made clear. Pride and vengeance are not paths to freedom, but chains bind the soul to destruction. The seduction of pride. Thanatos stands as the embodiment of pride, boasting, I possess the chi of the first 3 table members. My power now surpasses the god tier and still grows. He declares himself beyond all opposition. He believes his strength alone makes him worthy of submission and worship. Pride convinced him that his enemy's resistance is foolish and that their death will only prove his divinity. Yet, this pride does not elevate him. His allies are shadows, bound to him by fear, not loyalty. Even when faced with united opposition, he cannot comprehend the possibility of defeat. Pride blinds him to weakness, leaves him vulnerable to the judgment that soon descends. Pride, then, is not the mark of a god, but the downfall of a man. It convinced the strong they are invincible, even as the ground crumbles beneath them. The poison of vengeance. If Thanatos is pride, Shayheart is vengeance. His grief is a wound that has not healed, and his rage burns as its scar. It is here that Olivera, though blind, discerns what no one else dares to name, and thus he laid eyes on the source of his grief. This single line unmasked Shay completely. Though his sword is drawn against Thanatos, his true battle is inward. His grief has transformed into vengeance, and his vengeance into a destructive flame. Shay weeps, but his tears fall not as water, but as molten fire. His grief is no longer tender. It has become wrath. When Shay summons a Tomas the size of a sun, the others beg him to stop. Ilio screams, Shay, no! Soldiers scatter in terror. Vengeance promised relief, but his hand, it threatens to annihilate friends and foe alike. The very weapon he believed will avenge his pain becomes the danger that may destroy everything he swore to protect. Vengeance poisons grief, turning sorrow into rage, the voice of higher judgment. The living God interrupts the chaos with piercing clarity. He confronts Thanatos. You wasted the talent I gave you when you should have aided them. You made them serve your gifts. Pride has not only ruined Thanatos, it has polluted creation itself. But his words to Shay are equally striking. You think his death heals all? Even without him, evil will remain. Pride made him lose his way. When he ceased looking to help others and turned to himself, he was lost. Here lies the persuasive force of the chapter. Vengeance may kill a tyrant, but it does not heal the wound that birthed him. Pride may grant power, but it is a power hollow and corrupt. Only grace, humility, restraint, and purpose beyond the self can break the cycle. Counterpoint considered. Some might argue that vengeance is necessary. Shay's grief is raw and his enemies are monsters. Is it not justice to answer cruelty with equal force? Yet justice without grace is inseparable from cruelty itself. The living God asks, what of his followers, millions led astray? Would they turn to goodness if he falls? Destroying the tyrant without guiding his people leaves the world unchanged. Justice without mercy becomes another act of vengeance, another cycle of grief. Conclusion: grace over pride. Chapter 143, Grace makes the case clear. Thanatos, drunk on pride, is blinded on his own downfall. Shayheart, overwhelmed by vengeance, nearly burns all he sought to protect. Only the words of the living God, calling Shay back to humility and grace, revealed the true path forward. Pride isolates. Vengeance consumes. Grace redeems. When Olivera declared, and thus he laid eyes on the source of his grief, he revealed the truth. Grief unresolved will always return as pride or vengeance. The only truth escape is grace. The strength to resist pride, the humility to rise above vengeance, and the courage to heal instead of destroy. Now that we have covered all those topics, let's cover my raw thoughts. Man, Shayheart is the biggest crash out this year on my mother. Who's going to tell me somebody was able to nuke Thanatos and no diff him? And another thing, Shayheart kills everybody? That's wild. And what's up with Andrea's 5% Ilatos? You feel me? She got burnt to a crisp. That didn't help her at all. You feel me? No, they ain't finna goddamn be married no more. She probably gonna box that nigga. I don't know. But I'm Vast the Activist. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Comment your favorite part, and I'm out, bruh.
I've learned from my enemies. Beat them at their own game. You have become them. You will destroy the world, Wakanda included. The world took everything away from me. Everything I ever loved. But I'm gonna make sure we're even. I'm gonna track down anyone who would even think about being loyal to you.